Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. Two-time Stanley Cup champions Ottawa Senators, might I add. So we are about to start the 2003 and 2004 season. I have a few injuries. Arvidsson's about to come back. McCabe is going to take a little while, so he got hurt right like around that playoff time. And it was a 6-month injury, so he's not ready for the start of the season. I've decided on who's staying for the start of the season. There's a couple surprises in there, at least I think. Especially on D. So let's take a look. So I have Ryan Miller and Tim Thomas in net. That didn't change. That's going to be that for a while, I believe. And on D, I have Zdeno Chara, Volchenkov, Nolan Pratt, Nicholas Avalid, Chris Phillips, Tim Gleason, and Sheldon Surrey. So basically, Tim Gleason and Nolan Pratt outplayed Derek Morris in preseason, so I decided to give those guys a shot and see what happens. So Derek Morris is going to start the season in the minors. I know that I made a big deal about having him up, and he played okay. But he didn't have a good preseason and everything, and I kind of wanted to reward the guys who did. So we have a 20-year-old that played pretty well, and then Nolan Pratt also played pretty well in the preseason. So we'll see what happens with that. On left wing, I have another maybe surprise. Brooks Like is there, 20 years old, and then Denmarsh, Chris Kelly, Patrick Eliash. Again, my left wing is maybe my spot where I need a little bit more help. Although getting Arvidsson back is going to help a little bit, and it's probably Brooks Like that's going to get sent down at that point. So I have also Matt Cullen, Pavel Datsyuk, Joe Thornton. Spezza made the team out of camp. Mike Seninger basically made it because of loyal services. He didn't play all that great. And then Alexei Yashin. And then finally on the right side we have Alfredson, Avlat, Osa, and Michael Ryder, which I obtained at the right before the offseason started from Montreal for Derek McKenzie. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do have a couple, one-star players and everything. I'm poor, so I can't run just, superstars. I'm pretty loaded up front, though, so we'll see if our offense and our goaltending is good enough to carry us to another Stanley Cup this year. Let's get going here. The season starts in 5 days. We are going to host my favorite, the Montreal Canadiens, to start the season. Star upset over Hollywood flop. Mark Rickey tested the waters of Hollywood this offseason with a supporting role in the big budget action film Crazy Is What Crazy Does. He was all smiles at last month's premiere. There should be a E at the end here. That's a grammatical mistake. Posing on the red carpet for tabloid photographers. Unfortunately for Ricky, the film did not enjoy the kindest of reviews. Critics have universally panned the movie, calling it the modern-day Ishtar. Ricky's acting was also not well received, with one critic calling his performance as Staff Sergeant Frank Grimes pathetically laughable and saying he should stick to hockey. Ricky has yet to comment on whether or not he'll reprise his role as Grimes in the sequel announced earlier this week. Most fans find that move unlikely, as he has taken the critical penning harshly. One friend, wanting to remain anonymous, was quoted as saying, "Mark has a big ego and was really hurt by the criticism of his acting. There is no way he will be doing a sequel." 35-year-old Mark Rickey trying to become an actor. He's still a 3.5-star player, so it's not like you have to turn to acting right away. You can still make a few millions playing hockey, buddy. Alright, and those guys have to clear waivers, and they will. Alright, and now let's look at waivers and see if we can pick up somebody. Nope, because guess what? Most of the best players in there are mine. I'm not picking anybody up. I can't afford them anyway. Yeah, this after this season, Mike Sillinger's contract expires, and I am not going to re-sign him. I need his money that I'm giving him to give to other people. Strange off-season workout leads to success for Tarnstrom. So Dick Tarnstrom had a strange regimen. So we saw that with Patrick Travers a few seasons ago. Not sure what it does. Alright, the season preview. Alright. The early Stanley Cup favorites appear to be Ottawa. Look at that. We are the favorites to go 3 in a row. Led by center Pavel Datsyuk, general manager Jesse Bonham has built a squad that will be the team to beat this year, but he can expect challenges from Lula Moriello's New Jersey Devils and Detroit, featuring defenseman Niklas Lidstrom. For Dark Horses, Colorado is mentioned. Scoring race is going to be between Jagger, Selani, and Pavel Datsyuk. And Norris is going to be between Chelios, Lidstrom, and Andrei Markov. And for goaltenders, we have Brother, Luongo, and Patrick Roy. It's all played on the ice, though, guys. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so the season starts, and we are going to be playing Montreal. Of course, no record on either side, so we cannot judge by the record who's the best or anything like that. So we're going to take a look at their roster. So, unlike us, they are completely healthy, no injuries on their roster. And let's take a look here. So they have Patrick Roy and Dwayne Rawson in net. So Patrick Roy is a 4-star goaltender now. He's 38, so he's starting to decline, but still pretty good. François Beauchemin, Andrei Markov, Matthew Schneider, Yoni Pitkinen, Murray Barron, Eric Desjardins, Ed Jovanovski on D, so not bad. Sergei Berezin, Depita, Leclerc, Sean Avery. Yeah, they got fleeced in that trade. Sean Avery, Stephen Weiss, Sergei Brin, Derek McKenzie, Sekou Koivu, Thomas Plekanec, Pascal Riom, Todd White, Mike Ribeiro, Scott Thornton, and Sergei Zoltak. So they don't have a bad team. That's a pretty good team. Now let's see if we can beat them. So the season is underway. Go Sens go. Let's see here. Shara with Suri, Volchenkov with Tim Gleason, and Nicholas Avalid with Chris Phillips. Datsyuk with Osa and Eliash, Joe Thornton with Daniel Alfredson, and Chris Kelly is going to be playing with them. Alexei Yashin with Spedza and Denmarsh, and Matt Cullen with Michael Ryder and Mike Singer. Alright, well, let's get this thing going. So Patrick was going to face Ryan Miller in net, so looks like we might go to Ryan Miller as our starting goaltender this season after going to Tim Thomas last year. And we start the season with a loss. Look at that, we lost 2-1 to the Montreal Canadiens. We outshot them 59-27, but we still managed to lose. Matthew Schneider was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with an assist. And Patrick Roy was the third star with 58 saves. We did have 16,649 people in attendance to witness this loss to start the season. So we did score first. We opened the scoring in the second. Joe Thornton scored, assisted by Daniel Alfredson, and it was 1-0 Sens after 2. But then Montreal scored twice in the third period, and they ran away with the win, 2-1. Oh, that's fun. Bad news for Senators. Ep.87 is injured. He's going to miss 3 weeks. Ep.87's assist streak ended at 8 games with this thing. So, alright, let's put him on the injured reserve and let's call somebody. That didn't take long. I think Mike Fisher is coming up. Alright, so we are going to be hosting the Detroit Red Wings in 2 days. Not going to be an easy game. Red light stays on for Rick Nash in Columbus, who had 4 goals against Atlanta. Wow. Good start to the season for you, buddy. 19-year-old Rick Nash. Dynamic passing leads to productive night for Kyle Calder, who also plays in Columbus. So in that same game, he had 4 assists. Bobby Elick has played in 1,000 games, plays in Buffalo, 2-star player, 32 years old. And Brendan Morrison's suspension in Buffalo is over. So he is back in the lineup. So Todd Warner is available as well as Brad May, not picking them up. The league says no suspension for Alexander Daig, who plays in Minnesota for the Wild. 28-year-old and just a 1-star player. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had 2 goals against the Kings. Vincent Lecavalier set everything up tonight. He had 4 assists against Boston. Pretty good. Brad Richards has a memorable game. In that same game, he had 4 goals and an assist. Wow, so we're only a couple days into the season, and we've seen a couple 4-goal games already. Magnus Arvidsson is about to come back. That's not a bad thing. Alright, so we are about to play the Red Wings. The Red Wings won their first game of the season. They are 1-0 to start. Let's take a look at their lineup. No injuries. Chris Osgood and Marty Turcot in net. That's pretty dang solid. Joe Corvo, Nick Lidstrom, Dan McGillis, Curtis Crashtins, Bikov, Brisebois, Cronwall, and Kasparidis on D. That's all pretty good. Vincent Anfous, he's declining a little bit, but he's still capable. Vyacheslav Kozlov, Henrik Zetterberg, Scotty Upshall, Sergei Fedorov, Mats Lindgren, Stefan Yell, Steve Yzerman, Dallas Drake, Ray Ferraro, Brad Chartrand, Oleg Petrov, and Toby Peterson on forward. Yep, the Red Wings are going to be a good team again. That's not going to change. Alright, so Chris Osgood's going to be in net for Detroit. We're going to Ryan Miller, and we need a win here. And we got one. We won 4-2 against the Detroit Red Wings. So we outshot Detroit 28-23. Joe Thornton was the first star of that game. He had 3 assists. Patrice Brisebois of Detroit was the second star with a goal. And Chris Kelly was the third star. He had 2 goals. We had 16,782 people in attendance. And wow, most of the scoring was done in the first period there. So Chris Kelly scored from Joe Thornton, and then Sheldon Surrey on the power play from Martin Havlat and Joe Thornton. Then Detroit scored twice, made it 2-2, and then with 25 seconds left into the period, Marianosa scored from Brooks Lake and Jason Spezza. It was 3-2 after 1. And then all the way into the third period, Chris Kelly scored the only other goal of the game from Daniel Alfredson and Joe Thornton. 4-2 the final score. Alright, suspension over for Steve Ott in Dallas. So he is back in the lineup. No further punishment for Ricky. Oh, looks like he took his acting career frustrations out on the ice, but wasn't suspended for it. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Flyers. And Magnus Arvidsson might be back very soon. Alright, so we are heading west to go and play in California, so we're going to face the Kings here in 3 days. Jocelyn Thibault is available, not picking him up. Alright. Arvidsson about to come back. Brian McCabe ready to return to practice. He's about 2 weeks away, usually is what that means. Alright. Alright, Arvidsson is ready, so I am going to be calling him back up. So... there it is. So Arvidsson to the active roster. And Brooks Like is going to go down. He's only 20, so it's okay. Go play in the minors, buddy. Show us why you should come back. Alright, so we are about to play the Kings in LA. The Kings are 1-2 right now to start the season. They do have Dale Rominski and Jarno Kultanen both hurt. Those two are not going to play. And Mike Camilleri may or may not play. He is injured but capable of playing. So in net, they have Roman Czechmanek and Andrew Raycroft. On D, we see Keith Ballard, Francisek Cabert, Alexei Zitnik, Rob Blake, Kimo Timonen, Lubomir Wisnowski. That's a pretty good D. Bednar, Frolov, Eastwood, Tambellini, Luke Robitaille, Craig Conroy, Robert Lang, Sean Pronger, Sean Van Allen, Justin Pepino, I think that was his name. Yep. Essa Perns, Michael Camilleri, Eric Belanger, Wes Walls, and Parsinen. So, it's not that terrible of a team. They definitely have a few good players. The D's good. The goaltending is average to okay, I guess. And the forwards need to produce. That might be the biggest challenge there. Definitely the Gretzky era in LA is over. Alright, we're going to go to Tim Thomas for this one, and he's going to face Roman Czechmanek. And we win our first road game of the season, 3-0 over the Kings. So, shout out for Tim Thomas. We outshot the Kings 46-20. Martin Avlat was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Sheldon Surrey was the second star with 2 assists. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Pavel Datsyuk opened up the scoring in the first period on the power play from Martin Avlat and Sheldon Surrey. It was 1-0 after 1. And then nobody scored in the second. And then in the third period, we have Martin Avlat who scored from Sheldon Surrey and Pavel Datsyuk, and Patrick Heliash on the power play from Daniel Alfredson and Jason Spezza. 3-0 the final score. No further discipline for Dallas John Erskine. Great night for Jonathan Girard in Boston. He had 4 assists against Dallas in that same game. Alright, oh, Gusev is available. I'm not going to pick him up, but he is available. Peter Forsberg extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Wild. And Rod Brennamore played in 1,000 games. Let's see. And he had an assist against the Sharks. Alright. So we are about to play the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. They are still the Mighty Ducks. Not for all that much longer, I don't think. I think it's about to change. But nonetheless, the Mighty Ducks right now, so they are 0-1-2. So 1 loss and 2 ties for the Mighty Ducks. Let's take a look at their lineup here. They do have David Lang, who's hurt, so he's not going to be playing. Oh, look at that. They put their hands on Jamie McLennan, and then they have Ilya Brizgalov. So Jimmy McLennan had a few really good seasons, and he has a salary that goes with it. 1.56 million for 1 year. Looks like Brizgalov's the starter though. And then John Slaney, Tverdovsky, Vishnevsky, Leopold, Pitinen, Atcher, Zvela, Bouillon, Andy. It's there's a couple decent ones, but it's yeah. Chris Kunitz, Chad Johnson, Craig Johnson, Smirnov, Kilger, Olmquist, Ruchin, Wright, McDonald, Morgan, Carrier, Lapointe, Perry, and Rick Gerard. Yeah, there's a few holes in that lineup for sure. A few good players with potential that have not developed yet, like Corey Perry. He's only 18 right now. So definitely not a difference maker at the moment. So Tim Thomas in net for us. Why not? He had a shutout. And then Jimmy McLennan. We're facing a familiar face here. Oof. And we won 8-1. We outshot Anaheim 37-33. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of that game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Tim Thomas was the second star with 32 saves. And Daniel Alfredson was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. Alright, so we open up the scoring in the first. Matt Cullen scored short-handed from Pavel Datsyuk, and then Pavel Datsyuk from Sheldon Surrey. And then Michael Ryder scored his first in a Sens uniform from Matt Cullen and Mike Selinger. It was 3-0 after 1. Then we scored 2 more goals into the second period. Daniel Alfredson from Joe Thornton, and then Alfredson again on the power play from Jason Spezza and Zdeno Chara. It was 5-0 after 2. And then Pavel Datsyuk scored in the third from Mariano Ossa and Patrick Eliash, made it 6-0. Then Smirnov scored for Anaheim, made it 6-1. And then we scored 2 more goals. Chris Kelly from Daniel Alfredson and Pavel Datsyuk from Sheldon Surrey and Zdeno Chara. 8-1 was the final score. And Pavel Datsyuk had a great game. 3 goals and an assist. We were there. It was beautiful. And now we are going to play in San Jose the very next day. So we are about to face the Sharks. There's only 4 more games left in October. Oh, there's going to be almost a whole week between this game and the next. That's probably why. And then another 5 days near the end of the month. In a previous video, I already questioned why the NHL always starts with a very light calendar in October. I don't understand why. That's when the players are technically the most rested. I understand there's rust and everything, and usually teams take maybe a month or 2 to really get it going as a team, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. Maybe because it's not winter, I don't know. Anyway, so San Jose are 2-2, so okay start, I guess. I mean, small sample size. So, they have a few injuries here. They have Janne Ojanen that's hurt, and then, Pat Falloon with a ruptured disc in his back. Wow. 31-year-old Pat Falloon still holding on to a job in the NHL despite not doing too great lately. And for the actual roster, we have Johan Edberg and Mika Kiprusov in net, Phil Housley, Brad Stewart, Heckel, Kavanov, Daryl Sidor, Sean Brown, Scott Hannon, Jeff Gilson, Jeff Friesen, Jamie Langenbrunner, Milan Mikalik, Ray Whitney, Yakmanev, Sylvester, Gotch, Kozlov, Chichu, Bradley Mayer, and Peter Schaefer. We should be able to beat those guys. Ryan Miller in net for the Sens, Mika Kiprusov for the Sharks. And we won 4-3. Wasn't easy, but we got the win. We outshot them 38-29. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star yet again with 2 goals and an assist. Kavanov for San Jose was the second star with 2 assists, and Marian Ossa third star with an assist. Pavel Datsyuk scored his 5th already from Sheldon Surrey and Zdeno Chara, and then Pavel Datsyuk scored again unassisted. It was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, San Jose tied the game with 2 goals. And then Daniel Alfredson scored on a power play from Adam Denmarsh and Jason Spezza. It was 3-2 Sens after 2. And then we traded goals in the third. The Sharks scored first, and then Tim Gleason scored his first NHL goal. And it's a game winner with 4 seconds to go into the third period. Wow. From Pavel Datsyuk and Marian Hossa. So Tim Gleason seems to have a little bit of a knack for the dramatics here. Oh, Bill Guerin is now in Columbus. So Columbus afforded themselves Bill Guerin, former Ottawa Senator, played several years for us. So he is suspended and gonna miss 3 games. Sergei Zubov has racked up 600 points with a goal against the Carolina Hurricanes. And we have a trade proposal from the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are offering us Darren Reed for Karel Rakunek. And I will say, no thank you. Alright, we are going to continue to advance here. We play in 4 days at home. We're going to play the Washington Capitals, who have a winning record, something I don't believe I have seen since I've started this playthrough like 80-something episodes ago. Poor Capitals, they struggle every year. Alright, Yashin's about to come back. Pierre Turgeon has tallied 500 goals in his NHL career. He had a goal and 3 assists against Toronto. So 34-year-old Pierre Turgeon, still a 2-star player. Yeah, he's declining a little bit, Pierre Turgeon there. Mike Ribeiro got hurt while cleaning his garage. I whacked my elbow pretty hard against a shelf, and he's going to be out for at least a week, sorry. So Mike Ribeiro, 23 years old, 2-star talent. We'll see what happens with that. I know he had kind of a rocky career a little bit. He was kind of chased out of Montreal or something. There were all kinds of rumors about him. No suspension for St. Louis, Nicholas Wallin. So Nicholas Wallin does not play in Carolina anymore. He plays with the Blues, but he's not suspended. Brett Hull in that same game extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Edmonton. 39 years old, Brett Hull, still a 2-star-and-a-half player. Rob Blake has accomplished 600 points in his career with an assist against the Flyers. 3-star, 33 years old. Alright, and we are playing the Capitals tomorrow. So it looks like the Capitals were on a little break at the same time as us because their record didn't change. So the Capitals are 4-2 for the season. So that's good news for them. They have not been good. Like, I started this playthrough, like, this is what, the 11th season that I'm starting now, and yeah, they've been bad in pretty much all 10 of the previous ones. Alright, they have a couple injuries that they might be playing through, so Andy Sutton and German Titov are hurt, but might be playing anyway. In net, they have Milan Nelichka and Olaf Kozig, so Kozig is pretty good. Gonchar, Gustafsson, Miller, Sean Hill, Lupuschuk, Sutton on D. Yeah, it's not too terrible. Andrew Brunette, Ellis, Botterill, Pettinger, Addison Gordon, Metropolit, Brent Gretzky, Elminen, Holzinger, Clark Wynn, Peter Bondra, Zita Valpern, and Orsa. So the offense is not all that good. They have good goaltending, OKD. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to hold on to a winning record for all that long. So they're going to send Olaf Kozig to face us, and we're going to go with Tim Thomas. And we won 42. We outshot them 42-24. Patrick Eliash was the first star of this game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Pittenger had a goal and an assist for Washington, and Marian Osa a goal and an assist as well, third star. 16,267 people in attendance. Looks like Washington had some problems with staying disciplined in this game. And all of the scoring happened in the third period, and we scored 4 straight, and then Washington scored twice. So for us, it was Osa from Patrick Eliash and Zdeno Chara, then Pavel Datsyuk from Patrick Eliash and Marian Osa. Zdeno Chara scored on the power play from Patrick Eliash and Jason Spezza, and Patrick Eliash from Sheldon Surrey. And then Washington scored 2. It was too little, too late. 4-2 the final score for us. And we have 2 games left in the season. Not in the season, wow, that would be a really short season, in a month. So in Montreal and then at home against the Florida Panthers. Alright, so Mario Lemieux had a great game. 38 years old, 4-star player, 3 goals against New Jersey. And then there's been a trade between the Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jacket. Marc-André Bergeron goes to Columbus for Lassi Pierietta. Marc-André Bergeron was a defenseman. He looked very tiny when you were watching him play. He wasn't a guy that looked very big. He had one heck of a slap shot. So wow, he could shoot the puck, but in his own end, it was, well, not great. He was not known for having a very solid defensive game, but he was kind of a power play specialist that you would put on the point, and he could bring it. Wow, he could shoot the puck. Alright, now we are playing in Montreal, so we've seen their roster already. We played them first game of the season, and they beat us. That's our only loss. But since then, Montreal has struggled a little bit. They are 3-4 right now, and that's good for 9th in the East. Alright, so we're going to go with Ryan Miller, and he's going to face Dwayne Rolauson. It's going to be Dwayne Rolauson's first appearance this year. And we won this one 1-0. So it's a shutout. It counts. We outshotted them 31-22. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game with an assist. Andrei Markov was the second star despite not getting any points. And Matt Cullen, third star. He scored the lone goal, and the lone goal happened in the second period on the power play from Mike Selinger and Pavel Datsyuk. 1-0 the final score. That was an easy one. Except for Anton Volchenkov, who's hurt. Oh, it's a playable injury, so he can do it. He can play through the pain. It's the A train. He probably doesn't even feel it. I will always remember watching a game, and I might have mentioned that before, and I'm sorry if I did, but I will always remember watching a game against Pittsburgh where Volchenkov tripped as Yevgeny Malkin was taking a slap shot, and Volchenkov couldn't protect himself, and he got the slap shot right in the forehead. And I believe that he came back later in that game. That is crazy. Oh, God. Ilya Kovalchuk extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against Florida. 20-year-old Ilya Kovalchuk, already a 4-star player, so he's going to be a pain. Bill Guerin is back from suspension. Doesn't concern us anymore. Pierre Turgeon extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Pittsburgh. Oh, Eric Lindros is suspended. He's going to be missing 5 games. 30 years old, only 2 stars. That's weird. And Brian McCabe might be coming back soon. We kind of need him back there. Right, so we still have 4 days before we actually play the game against the Panthers. Juha Ilonen is available, not picking him up. Eric Bogunicki in Buffalo is not suspended. And then we have a strong game from Joe Sakic, who had 4 assists against Buffalo. Wow. Dave Scatchard in Chicago is suspended. He's going to miss 9 games. Brian McCabe about to come back. Who knows? Maybe he's going to be back in time for the last game of the month. Rod Brind'Amour has a strong game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Montreal. Good job, Rod Brind'Amour. Same game, Mark Rickey also had a great game. He had 4 assists. And still in the same game, Martin St. Louis extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist. Ilya Kovalchuk extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Maple Leafs. Big game for Sergei Zubov, who had 4 assists against the Mighty Ducks. Sergei Zubov, 33 years old, 3 stars. No further discipline for Chicago's Tyler Harnison. Not suspended. Open ice leads to a productive night for Teppo Numminen in Phoenix. Still the 3-star defenseman at 35. He had 4 assists. We're seeing a lot of 4-point games this season so far. Alright, and Brian McCabe is about to come back. And we're playing tomorrow against Florida. Martin St. Louis extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal and an assist against Florida. Pierre Turgeon played in 1,250 games. And he celebrated with 2 assists against Pittsburgh. Paul Kariya extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against Washington. And Brian McCabe is ready. Alright, so I'm going to send Nolan Pratt down. And I am going to get Brian McCabe back up. Come on, Brian. Brian McCabe is the first quote-unquote big trade that I've made. The first one that I was pretty excited about, for sure. And he's still with us. That's pretty cool. Alright, so we are playing Florida. Florida is 2-7-1 to start the season. They are struggling, but despite that horrible record, they're not even last in the East. They are 14th. Let's take a look at their roster here. So they do have Drew Bannister, that's hurt, not gonna play. Marcus Nilsson may or may not play. He's hurt. John Graham and Tanner Scott in net. At least I think it's Tanner Scott. Travis Scott. Sorry, got that one wrong. Jay Boomister, Kelly Holes, Denis Gauthier, Carl Dykhouse, Kenny Janssen, Neil Youngman on D. I mean, Boomister is pretty good, and then you have Kenny Janssen, Denis Gauthier, and they're okay. That's not that great. Marcus Nilsson, Nathan Horton, Denis Shvidki, Tuoko, Samsonov, Campbell Green, Connolly, Shubarov, Payet, Jamal Mayers, Stewart, Johnson, Uzelius, and Juan Vig. Yeah, that's not a good team. This is not a very good team. Right, they're going to send John Graham in net. We're going to go with Ryan Miller for this last game of the month. And it's a shutout win, 5-0. We outshot Florida 44-9. Patrick Elias was the first star of this game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Sheldon Surrey was the second star with an assist. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with an assist. We had 13,372 people in attendance. So we took a 2-0 lead into the first. Daniel Alfredson scored from Chris Kelly and Joe Thornton. And then Patrick Elias from Sheldon Surrey. 2-0 after 1. Then after 2, it was 3-0 because Marinosa scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Patrick Elias. And finally in the third, Patrick Elias scored from Adam Denmarsh and Jason Spezza. And Matt Cullen finished it off, assisted by Michael Ryder and Mike Sillinger. 5-0 the final score. Ulf Dallin has recorded 500 assists. He had an assist against Toronto. Mario Lemieux has 2,100 points in his career so far, with a goal against Chicago. Alright, so we are October 31st, so I'm going to sim one more day. Alright, so Patrick Stefan in Atlanta got suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. Alright, and the players of the month are Rod Brennamore in Philly and Manny Fernandez in Columbus. Interesting. Alright, so we are first of our division and second in the East with 14 points. We are 7-1. Philadelphia is first in the East with 17 points in 10 games. So they did play 2 more games than us. Alright. If we look in the West real quick. Oh, Columbus is first. So they signed Bill Guerin, and look at them. First in the Western Conference. Then Edmonton, San Jose, Detroit, Minnesota, Nashville, Phoenix, and Dallas. Wow, those are not the teams that we usually see there. That's cool. I wonder if it's gonna last. Look at Vancouver struggling, Colorado struggling. Wow. We don't see that too often, or we haven't been seeing that too often. Let's take a look at our stats. So Pavel Datsyuk is 12 points in 8 games. And then we have Eliash with 9 and 8. Sheldon, 8 and 8. Alfredson 8 and 8. And after that, it starts dwindling down. We don't have anybody else that's a point per game. So pretty good. Pavel Datsyuk's already a plus 15 on the season after 8 games. That's crazy. Alright, let's take a look at the stats in the entire league. So the best goal scorer right now is Jerome McGinley. He has 11 goals in the month of October. And then Danfus in Detroit is the best passer with Le Cavalier and Dick Tarnstrom. They all have 10 assists. And the best scorer right now is Vincent Danfus that Montreal traded with Patrice Brisebois for Sean Avery. Oh my god, they got fleeced. Alright. That's pretty much it right now. So it's still early in the season, so I don't expect Danfus to finish first scorer in the league or anything like that, but it's still fun to see what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and save my game. When we play next time, it's gonna be the month of November. Let's see here. Looks like we have a nice little home. Yeah, we're gonna be playing at home a lot. Like in the first 22 days of the schedule, we play only 3 times on the road. So definitely going to be an interesting month. We're going to need to build a really good lead there with all those home games. We can't afford to lose too many of those. Alrighty, well that's it for today. So as usual, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. All of the above, none of the above. It's all up to you. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.